Yeah, and welcome again. For this tutorial I'll be showing you how I made a binary game using Python programming, and this is how it runs. So it says convert numbers to binary, do not include preceding zeros, e.g. is type 1 instead of 0 1. So what is the binary value for 3? You don't type 0 1 1, you type 1 1. Press enter. Okay, so I've already made the code for it. I'm just gonna run through it and comment each and every line, and hopefully you get to understand how it's done. So let's put this away. Okay, so this is a binary game that randomly displays numbers and asks the user to enter their binary values. So import random, time, and operating system. Now what this does is to allows a user to clear the screen or reset the screen. That's what line 3 does. So why am I making these variables global? So variables level and points are global, so they can be used anywhere. Let's say set the initial values for level and points. Okay, we set initial values for these two variables. Okay, like that. And then actually, you know what, let me do this points and level. That's what it is. So the value for level is 1. You start at level 1 and then you have 0 points because you haven't done anything as yet. So then the timer. Now this will wait 2 seconds, then erase or reset. Yeah, reset the screen or the display screen. That's what the timer does. So going inside it, as you can see here, this part here tells the program to wait for 2 seconds. Yeah, I will abbreviate that, and then reset. Okay, screen. Sometimes you can actually do something like this. Okay, aka that, and then you do CLS. In some platforms it only accepts CLS, not clear. Clear works mainly on online, but this is for, let's say, if you're running it off your desktop. What does random nums do? It chooses random values, but how? Now we're gonna go into that function. Let me minimize this for a minute and then open that. So print is, to display the question. Okay, convert these numbers. It's just giving you the instructions on what you're meant to be doing. Convert these numbers to binary. Do not include preceding zeros, e.g. type 1 instead of 0 1. Underline the above IA. It's gonna print 50 underscores. Yeah, so that's set on a new line. Basically this is for new line, that code over there. And these asterisks you see here are only just decorations. You don't have to put them there. So that's what line 19 does. And like we said, global is just globalizing the variables. Yeah, now this global here is right inside of this function random nums, because we are going to use these numbers here, these variables. We're going to use them in the function and then use them in another function, which is questions. Yeah, so anyway, let me just go up here and copy that and then bring it here. It's within this here. Okay, and then like that. Okay, the variables, then I'm gonna go up there and put plurals there. Yep. Okay, the variables num, num2, num3 binary are global, so they can be used anywhere. They can be used anywhere where applicable, but we don't know their values. So again, I'm gonna copy here. I'm gonna copy, set the initial values. Yeah, set the initial values for the variables. Yeah, set initial values for these variables. Okay, actually, but the variables we're talking about. Set the initial values for num, num2, and num3, and their initial values are random values. Okay, so set initial values for num as random numbers. Okay, we've set the random values for these numbers. Okay, that's what this function does. Okay, so now we are going to invite invite or call, or call the function questions. We're gonna call that function, but remember it requires these variables inside it. Okay, I'm gonna put some asterisks there to refer to whatever variables come with it. Okay, we're gonna set or invite this function. Now what does this function do? What does it do? We're gonna get to that in a minute. Let me now minimize this and then get to this point here. Okay, now questions, what it does is to display the question. So how is it gonna do that? Let's go through it. Okay, so it's gonna display the question, okay, based on the player's level. Okay, if the player is at level 1, okay, here's what we do here. Let me say, if the player, here's what we do. Okay, convert the value of num. Okay, now remember, num is level 1, num2 is level 2, and num3 is level 3, which is why in this function here you saw that num, the first number, has lower values here. Then the second number, which is at level 2, the one for level 2, has higher values than num, and then num3 has higher values than the rest of them. Okay, so convert the value of num to binary. Okay, so that's what this function, this part does. Okay, so it says a variable named binary. Okay, and then it says that this variable is equal to, so we're going to format the value of num to binary. Okay, then now we know the binary value for our randomly generated number. Okay, so let's set the question. Okay, set the question, and what the question does is to expect input, and this input will be stored in the user's, in a variable named answer. Okay, so it's going to expect input from the user, but it prompts the user on what to be typed in. Okay, it says what is the binary value for num, so it's going to display that number and store the user's answer in variable answer. Okay, it's going to set the question asking for the binary value for num, and then store the user's answer, or let's say user's input. Okay, input in variable answer. But suppose level is not equal to 1. Suppose the level is not, it's not level 1. What do we do? Because remember, we started here at level being level 1. That's how the game starts. But suppose they are doing really well and they have gone past level 1. What happens? Now we will know how levels are set later on in another function. But here, now if it's level 2, okay, we say but if the user is at level 2, okay, we then set the same question but using variable num2. Okay, because remember num2 has bigger numbers, and then it's going to ask the same answer, same question again, and store the user's input in the variable named answer. So now, to cut the story short, we're going to copy that, put this there. Then we're going to say that if the user is at level 3, we're then going to set them number 3 and do the same thing again. Now I don't have to really explain any of this besides this part here. Invite or call function compare. Now you see I don't really have to type, this is just a comment, okay? So I don't have to type this again. We're gonna see what this function does. Compare, what does it? So this is what questions does. It sets questions based on the level the user is at. Okay, if the user is at level 1, it sets a question using a lower number. So, and the numbers that got it uses the numbers from this function here called random nums. These numbers you see here. Now this range is for level 1, that range is for level 2, and that range there is for level 3. Okay, now let's minimize this too, and then go to this function named compare. So this function compares the actual answer. Now the actual answer is what you see here. You see here, binary, compares binary. Let's actually do this like this, okay? Compares it with the user's input. Okay, with user input, and then it awards marks accordingly. So let's see how it does it. I'm gonna open that and then go in there. So now for it to work, it's gonna need the user's answer, which is a variable got from questions. Yeah, this variable is gonna need that. Okay, then it's gonna need binary. So it's gonna need to know what binary is. Binary is this here, the actual answer. Okay, because you converted the num to binary and then stored it into this variable named binary. It's gonna need that, and then it's gonna need the level and points. Display good. Okay, if the bracket binary, that's a value for the actual answer was binary. So if they match, the user's answer, this one here, matches with binary, then tell them they've done well. Then now actually, you know what, let's split the comments here. Okay, so this here says increment the current value of points, okay, by 5 extra points, or max. Yeah, that's a better way to say, by an extra 5 max. So it says points plus equals 5. You can say points equals points plus 5, yeah, if you have the time. Okay, then otherwise, if the user's input, one that was stored in answer, okay, match, doesn't match, the user's input doesn't match the actual answer, the one that was stored in binary, display incorrect. If they don't match, they need to know that. Also do this, decrease or reduce. We're gonna say reduce the current value of points by 8 marks. Okay, points minus equals 8 if they get it wrong. That's been done, but now we're gonna check on the levels. Now check on the user levels if based on the current score. Okay, what happens? Let's do this. Okay, if the user's score, let's say user's score is less than 51. If it's less than 51, okay, it's not 51, but it's 50, 49, and anything below that, what happens? Set the level back to level 1. Let's say set the game back to level 1. Now we're gonna copy that, and then we're gonna say, so we set level equals 1. Okay, that's how we set the game back to level 1. We're gonna change the value of level to 1. Okay, but if the user's score is greater than, okay, greater than 51 but less than 101 to level, set the game back to level 2. Okay, otherwise they are on level or at level 3. Okay, otherwise they're at level 3, and then let the user know, okay, and level. Then after doing that, invite the timer. But then what? Does the game stop there? No, it doesn't. So it's gonna invite the function named random nums, okay, to restart the game. We don't want it to end there. However, when we go to this line here, okay, we're not restarting the game, we're actually starting the game. Okay, That's what line 83 does. It starts the game. So the game starts at this function here, random nums. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it.